Greetings, comrades. So it's been a hell of a week here. My partner got COVID. I didn't, and he's fine now. It snowed in Texas. It's melting right now. And the richest man in the world gave a full-on Nazi salute at the presidential inauguration. What a week. Well, I'm still back with our capital reading for today. We are still in chapter 15, section 8, and a lot of this is kind of just reiterating things he already talked about in this chapter. We're still talking about the rise of the machine, essentially. He starts off here talking about the overthrow of cooperation based on handicraft and the division of labor. The example he uses here is needle making, like sewing needles, where it used to take 10 men working together in their workday to create 48,000 needles, which still sounds like a lot to me. But with this machine that they now have, one girl working one machine can make 145,000 needles in her workday. But this girl tends to work at 4 machines at a time, making 600,000 needles in her 10 to 12 hour workday. So obviously that's a huge increase in production, and those 10 men are now out of a job, and it's replaced by a child. So we're back to talking about a lot of child labor here in this chapter, talking about women and children and unskilled laborers replacing people that used to do like skilled handicrafts work. Talking about the factory and also people that are working at their homes, essentially. Cottage industry is a term you hear nowadays, and it's referring to these cottages that were stuffed full of, again, generally women and children working, and small rooms, not well ventilated, gas lamps providing the light. Really unhealthy, horrible conditions for these people. Something I found crazy and interesting is him talking about a few different industries. Rag sorting, which is literally just like disgusting discarded cloth that people had to sort through. Again, by people I mean children and young girls, and they were getting smallpox from these filthy rags that they were sorting through, that were basically being torn down to like make paper and other materials. He talks about tile and brick making, where you have children as young as 4 years old carrying like mud and clay up from these pits for then usually an adult woman to make into these tiles or bricks. 4-year-olds. I've known a few 4-year-olds in my life, and it's hard to get them to stay on task, but I guess, beating the shit out of them probably was a pretty good motivator. He talks about how overwork, it kills these children, right? These kids do not have any sort of life. They certainly don't have a childhood. They're not getting an education. These are poor working class people in England at the time. They start drinking. There's kids at pubs because they work this shift with the adults and then they go to the pub. These young girls have kids very early and just start this cycle, just breeding into this system, a term that I really liked that he referred to the capitalist as was plundering parasites. And I think it's still very apt thing to call the capitalist class nowadays. We will be back next week with the final installment of chapter 15, and then we can move on. We only have about a third or so of the book left, so we're getting close, y'all. We're getting real close. Cheers.